Calvin, I call him my pops. He took me under his wing, and we went to, Atlanta, Florida, all over, and he allowed me to play with him. And not only that, he really taught me a lot of discipline as far as service-wise, of how to read a service.
Right.
Not always about jamming.
Right.
Always reading the service. Sometimes they used to say that saying, break it down and get some more. It's like,
yes.
You got a whole time to do things, And it was like a lot of those guys, like I said, Ted Beard really taught me as far as how to be precise about what you play.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you play certain song, make sure you hit that song. Don't slide into it.
Right.
Sure
you hit it precisely.
Precise. Yeah. You got when you hit it, when you play the song, you might as well go ahead and you'll know what you're playing.
Yeah.
And it's like I said,
Jay, your testimony alone, I promise you, it's about 1,000 people that's gonna watch this probably before the day is out. You've helped those people. You've helped somebody that's a musician that's probably going through what you've gone through.
Mm-hmm.
And through your testimony, you have given them a path of deliverance. And one of the things I just kind of want to reiterate that you said that stuck with me before the call, before this particular live that we're doing right now. Shout out to my East Coast of Florida musicians. We were on doing a private gathering, and one of the things that I left with them, because they were having their meeting, and I just kind of provided a platform for them. But they wanted me to just impart something to them, and we talked about the very thing that you brought up, relationships. And people don't understand that you're looking for money. It's through relationship. You're looking for salvation. It's through relationship, through God. But here's the thing. I was telling them that when we take on a heart, when we have the head, a leadership where we acknowledge the heart of God, a leader that acknowledges the hand of God and acknowledges the understanding or where your head is with God, we can go a lot of places and do a lot of things. And relationship is key. You said that many times in your testimony, that your relationship with God, you were taught to build a spiritual relationship with God. I even in the past posts that we've had, I've noticed how people talk about the relationship that they have with each other. I think it's key that we really get that, because even in your testimony, you talked about the relationship, not only with the people that have helped you, but the relationship that you have with God, the relationship that you have that have connected you with so many people. Jay, you're probably one of few people that I know that has been, I should say, both on the Keith and Jewel side, in the sense that you've touched so many people. You're approachable, if I can say that. You're approachable. They love, like we love you when you come around. Like, oh, Jay here. Like we calling you up to the front. Like, oh, dude, like you're that guy, and that's it speaks a lot to what you just talked about, your humble beginnings and how you were raised, but your testimony, man. Thank you for sharing that. I promise you bless so many people you don't even realize. I'm looking at some of the comments and what people are saying. It's that was needed. Thank you for that.
Hey Dante, can I add?
Yes, sir.
One thing that he did not say was after God raised him up. There's a tune that we do. It's called Jay's Jam.
Yes,
and
that's one of my favorites.
Yes, sir. And we actually use that as the intro for one of our TV shows that we have here. And that was the first tune that God gave Jay after the Lord raised him up.
Wow.
Jay,
Mm-hmm.
that's the backstory behind that.
That's why it's so anointed.
Right.
Man.
And I think too is like all these guys, Chris, the Lord has put me in tune with Del Rey, Bubba, and Chris to where, like you said, with the Amazing Grace Praise Band, it was a connection between all of us. It wasn't no animosity. It wasn't no age. I've been playing longer than you. I mean, I learned so Chris and Bubba taught me and Del Rey so much about technique of how to intros and how to come in, the click track and stuff like that. You know, certain tunes that they say of the contemporary side, they bring it to us and say, okay, let's try this, and we tried it. And you know, I love those guys so much, man, and respect them highly, not because of nephews, but the fact that certain things that they teach me, hey, Jay, do this and do that. Okay, I'll learn it, you know. And it's like I say, a lot of people, you know, older, they'll say, oh, well, I've been playing longer than you. You can't tell me this. And I'm like, you know, we all learn from each other.
Right. That's a blessing. I think that's the beauty of music. I know Chris, I don't know if he can hear me. Chris is so innovative with his drumming, and you were just talking about some of the things that, you know, you guys do in rehearsals, and you've learned through them. Chris, I know you talked earlier about you know, the connection between you and I, but what got you over to the point of even playing with click tracks and just doing all the innovative stuff that you're doing now?
So actually, that comes from Dale Jr. He was real hard on me about timing
on drums. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us about that. Chris just talked about how phenomenal you are on drums, and you know, before you dive the bass. So
yeah, well, I started off playing at State Line under my cousin Eugene Grace. So when he went off to the military or whatever, I used to always have a little drum anyway, a little beating drum, or whatever, anyway, on the side of him.
Okay.
So even I'm gonna speed up a little bit, but even in that, when he left off, of course, I was the main drummer and all that stuff, and dealing with the Church Living God, it was always the pocket. Right. You know, you got to learn timing first before you did anything. All the fancy stuff, the timing was always first.
That's right.
So it was that first, and then later on, and my dad, he joined a church called Upper Room. So the church Upper Room, they had like 3 drummers already, and I was like the 4th.
Okay.
So if the choir sung 4 songs, that was 4. Every drummer got 1 song. That was it.
Wow.
You know, and then with that, you know, that's when my Aunt Angie come into play. You know, she joined another church and all that stuff. She split off from the Church of God and another church, whatever. So they didn't have a drummer. So, you know, she asked if I wanted to come over there and play, and I would get more playing time. And ended up doing that and for a minute, and that was good. And then after that, I kind of had the best of both worlds. You know, my dad's side was music inclined. Also, my mom's side was music inclined.
Right.
Yeah.
So, at my Uncle Kevin, he went to Mount Pilgrim. So I always wanted to go and visit, you know, and go with him and all that stuff on either rehearsal or whatever. And he finally, one day, he called me. He said, you know, my church's drummer, you know, but I just want you to win or whatever. I said, all right, fine. I get there, and that's when everything changed. So when I get there, I sat in that night. It was a Thursday night because they had choir rehearsal on Thursday night. That night, my Uncle Kevin called my mom. It was about like 9:30 at night. I was in the bed. I was in junior high school. So he called me, and my mom called my mom. My mom called me in there and said, you know, Uncle Kevin want to talk to you. And he pretty much was like, you know, the church, they want to hire you and to be the drummer and all that stuff and all that. And, you know, by that time, $75, that's a lot of money.
Right.
You know, in church. I was like, oh, yeah, that's cool. But I'll say this, fast forward again, when I made that move, those guys, they taught me a whole lot when it came to, they said I was already good, but it was more fundamentals I had to learn besides, you know, just keeping the time. You know, they taught me when it came to always pay attention to the crowd, pay attention to the director and all that stuff. Because I'm going from Church of God where it's only the lead guitar, drums, and steel guitar. Yeah. That's all it is. Now I'm crossing over from that to keyboards, organs. You got a horn section. You got you got all this stuff, you know, so it was a whole lot more to pay and to learn from.
Yeah.
So those guys, they taught me a whole lot, and that's where the track comes in and stuff. So I had to, and playing with a click track back then, it was a stand, you know, in that church.
Yeah.
I say cold jig, you know, all that. It was standard and no choice.
Yeah.
But that I instilled into Chris, you know, when it came to that stuff, and I was always hard on him. Like, no, you need to do this. You slowing down, you speeding. He used to get upset with me and all that stuff. But when he ventured off and got into other things and all other churches and all that, he understood, like, okay, yeah, I guess he wasn't lying to me. And he was telling the truth. Like, this is what the standard is.
Yeah.
So when it came to that, you know, I've always been hard on Chris and all that. And I love him to death. I love him to death, but I'm only hard on him because I love him.
Yeah.
You know, so when it came to that aspect, you know, that's where, and I'm still learning, you know.
No. Wow.
Yeah, that's how that inspired. You know?
Wow. So let me ask this one question before I leave you. So how did you get going on the bass?
Oh, yeah. Somebody told me, I forgot who it was. It could be my dad.
He
and a left-handed.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So I think my dad or somebody always told me, he's like, man, it's 100,000 musicians, drummers in the city. You gotta learn how to play something else. So I was like, you know what? You know, I like the bass, so I'll be able to try that. I'm gonna pick that up. And he didn't think I was serious at first. So you know, I toured around with his bass. He got a right-handed bass.
Okay.
So I played upside down for the longest. You know, I learned how to play upside down for the longest or whatever. And then when I got enough money saved up, whatever, I purchased my own left-hand bass, whatever, and that's how I got started, you know, and that's how I learned, you know. But drums always in my heart, or whatever. That was always my first love, or whatever.
And who's that with you? With her cute?
Oh, that's the third. That's the third.
Oh, this is the third. He's cute. Okay. Wow.
Number 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
You said number 3. Papa said number 3.
Yeah.
Man, beautiful.
Yes, sir.
Well, man, that's some good stuff. You know, as a drummer myself, that's where it started for me. And it's so funny because even as I listen to all of you all talk, your stories are with each other, and that's how it was with my family. You know, they were the hardest on me. You know,
let me say this too. Let me say this. Hey, Uncle Jay, when he first got the band, I couldn't believe he wanted to be with us. I'm like, what? You a superstar? You want to play with us? I couldn't believe it.
Wow. So you didn't know what you signing up for?
Dad and I just didn't know. I'm like, no, okay, I know my pop's married your sister, but man, I don't know how long this gonna last.
That's why he married her.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is good. But you know what? This is where it starts. It starts with family. It starts with family. It starts with family because that's how it started with me, family. So, man, I can have this conversation with y'all for days because this is really good, the synergy and everything that we all share with how we start and just how we've developed our gifts. So before we go, of course, Dale, you know, you've worked on so many different projects within the Sacred Steel community. I want to be able to give you space enough to talk about, you know, any future endeavors that's getting ready to happen, where people can find you all's music, and so on and so forth.
Okay, Brother Dante, thank you so much again, Dante. As far as, you know, we have a website, www.sacredstrings.com, and that's where a lot of the music, these are compilations of House of God and Jewel Dominion musicians that you can find them there for low price of $10. And we appreciate anybody's support because there's not a whole lot of money in what we do, and this is how we kind of keep going when people purchase our product. And we do have donors that give to us on a regular basis, and we got a YouTube page, YouTube channel which boasts of the largest collection of African-American steel guitar players in the world on there.
Yes.
You know, and you can find that under my name. I want to say this about my band because Dante, a lot of this, when I first started this vision, I sat them down and talked to them, and I laid the vision out to them, and I knew it wouldn't work unless they cooperated. They cooperated with me, you know, to the extent to where I had a house band, because we were inviting other steel guitar players in,
Right.
and a lot of them did not have a band, and so Jay was over that. Sometimes people would send their music ahead of time, and Jay would get with the band. They would practice and do things like that. So when that steel player got here, they know his or her music, So we had a lot of cooperation. I have a Sacred Strings committee, my cousin Dot, Jackie, my sister Tony, Linda Warren, Kelly, Darlene, all of these people make this thing happen. They have a saying that says, teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes, it does.
My band, I thank my sister Fran, and from always participating with us, to bring the female perspective, to Sacred Steel. And we have something special here, and I thank God for it. For all these years that we've been doing this, God has given us positive results. Like I said, I've been able to meet a lot of people that I didn't even know existed, and I thank God because of the music. Let me say this too about the Keith and Jewel Dominions and just Mother Tate's Church in general, because we were blessed to take Sacred Steel down to Florida.
Yes.
Deerfield. We took it to Georgia. We took it to Florida. And down there, I also invited the Lewis Dominion, even though they don't have a steel guitar present like these other two Dominions do. I wanted them to, because they were in West Palm and they weren't too far away, I wanted them to be a part of this Sacred Steel concert, because they're the bloodline of the church at large.
Yeah.
And they came over and they participated, and that was one of the few times that all three Dominions were in the same house together. And some of the people from the House of God down there who did not know them, they had an opportunity to meet them, fellowship with them, and I thought that was a great thing. It seems like this music is doing more to bring Mother Tate and rally Mother Tate's children than anything else, and we're grateful for that, because this is the Lord's doing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. And just one more quick thing, just to encourage young people out here that are playing this music.
Yeah.
Right.
Because this music is so special, Dante. Everybody can't get in on this. This is like a birthright.
Yeah.
It's like a spiritual bloodline. A white gentleman asked me one day, he plays a steel. He said, I think anybody that plays a gospel song on a steel guitar ought to be considered sacred steel. I said, no, I know you would like that to be true, but this is a culture. This is an African-American culture that to be sacred steel, you have to come through this bloodline, through these ranks.
Right.
It's because it's a lifestyle and a commitment that goes into it. And from the outside looking in, you just don't see it. But when you're born and raised in it, you see all of the details that that happens in between. So I want the young people to be encouraged. Don't let people talk you out of your music and to playing other stuff on the steel guitar, because God gave this music to this house, and to this body of people so that he might be glorified. Yeah. And so just be encouraged. I love you guys, man. Thank you, Dante.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So Jay, I'm gonna just keep going. Jay, what would you like to leave to musicians all around the world, and for those that are watching, as just a word of advice for them to keep pressing forward?
The major thing that I would want to impart in young musicians: never feel that you have to be in competition to play God's music. And what I mean by that is, never feel that you have to play better than somebody of God's music. And the reason I say that is, God gives us all our own gifts.
Yes.
Right.
That he's given you, Dante, he didn't give to me. So for me to be in a competition with you over God's music, is, no disrespect, the world does that. Better guitar player, who's the better drummer, and everything. But when it comes to sacred steel music or playing for God, it should never be a competition. Reason to say that is, my grandfather always taught me, when you have a person, when you're playing the guitar, you may have a person that can play chords, run, scales, run all up and down the neck. But God will bless that one person who plays the same tune every time, or plays that one string.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he's playing it for God, he will bless that compared to what a person knows. What person he can play all over the neck. He can chord, whatever case. But the fact is, God is going to anoint that one person who is playing for him and has a humbleness in his heart to play for him. He will bless that more than he would the other person.
Wow, that's
good.
good.
The world judges us, but my thing about it is, it's not about the world to judge us as far as sacred steel. We only want the judgment from God.
Yeah.
And that's my thing that I would tell any young musician: never feel you in competition to play God's music.
Yeah, that's good. You made me think about Henry Nelson. I remember as a little boy listening to him, and even growing up as a teenager playing drums with him, and everybody would just talk about his tune, the one tune he will always play. But every steel player that I know does it. Don't pop.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Every steel player, like that's the staple. So as soon as you hear that, it's Henry Nelson. So to your point, Jay, that is so true. Despise not your humble beginnings. It's what it is. It's what it is. Fran, if you, there's so many. I'm sure there are a lot of musicians that are out there, and they want to know how they can be better. What advice would you leave them?
It takes a lot of prayer practice, and there are some anointed, there are some skillful. So it's kind of like what Jay said. I mean, it takes a lot of your relationship with God, because you can't just jump on there and play, because your emotion and the spiritualness is going to come out. Right. My mom used to tell me that all the time. Your relationship with God is going to come out in your music. Yeah. So I take, I love my steel sisters. I bless them when I hear them. I support them. Yeah. But these times we're in now, music is more important, because my sister Tressa shared something with me that they're trying to take singing out of churches. Yep. So, right now, all the ones that can play, your instrument can sound like, voices. Mm-hmm. So we need to think about that. Yeah. And whether you male or female is how God used you. Yeah. So I just like to say, encourage the girls, the women, the girls is coming up. Just keep at it. Don't be discouraged. Keep at it.
Amen. Thank you for that, Fran.
You're welcome.
Chris, is Chris still there? There he is. Chris, what advice would you leave your peers, man? What advice would you leave your peers as far as, being a drummer, honing your craft?
I would definitely echo what everyone is saying. Prayer, your spirituality, your practice, and not just any type of practice, perfect practice, because how you practice comes out in your performance.
That's right.
So and my uncle is a stickler for that. Trust me, we go over the same song, so y'all hear all them ties and breaks that we create. That's a lot of practice, and it's just not anything we're practicing. We're trying to make sure we give as close to perfection as we can. Yeah. And so I will also say, don't despise small beginnings, because when I began this journey, I wasn't where I was today. And so now I've had the pleasure to travel with Calvin Cook, thanks to Jay and Derek Campbell and a lot of other steel guitar players. But also, don't box yourself into just one genre of music. Music is a big, huge world out there. So tap into those other genres. My uncle don't always like all the other stuff me and Dale Jr. bring in there, but when we put it together, you be like, oh, that's what y'all was trying to do. So it's kind of like you got to be versed enough to kind of know what's going on around you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So Dale Ray Jr., same thing.
I will say this. Well, one major thing is my dad always taught me, even at a young age, is staying humble. Staying humble. There's always somebody out there that can do way more than anything you can do, and faster, whatever, more skillful and all that. But the ones who are more humble gets the phone calls. Right. The ones who think they can steal the show, and all that stuff and all that, just one man band, they don't really last long.
Wow.
So that was one thing. Another thing I will say that would to piggyback off Chris, I'm an old head. You know, I got an old soul when it comes to music and all that stuff. So I remember being, I don't know how I was on. we was living on Lincoln Street, Lincoln Avenue.
Right.
And my dad used to always put me to bed to records. When I say records, I mean like the old, you know, the Temptations, the Motown stuff, and all that. So when I got of age, you know, when I got older, I used to always think like, how do I know these songs? And I'm singing these songs and knowing the tags and playing them. And these old heads, they looking at me like, how do you know this? You're too young for this, young buck.
Come on.
What you know about this? And I never listened to it, you know, whenever like, you know, at 14, 15 like that,
Right.
but I always knew it. So luckily, the good thing about that is, you know, even back in the Motown era and all that, it was like depression going on and all that stuff. So a lot of them, even back then, they didn't know what we know now when it comes to the spirituality and all that kind of stuff, whatever.
Right.
So it wasn't talking about killing and a bunch of sex and drugs and all that kind of stuff. You know, like the Marvin Gaye and all that stuff was, you know, he was talking about the times, what was going on when it comes as far as us as the people.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of that stuff I do thank him for, you know, putting me to see that kind of stuff instead of what's going on now. I think I'm not born around this era. You know, it's a whole different story now. But you know, that's one thing I can say. You know, as far as he taught me, as far as being humble by a lot of stuff. You know, because you can easily be replaced.
Hey, this is good. That's good stuff. Last but not least, for the vocalists that are out there that are trying to hone in on their gift and don't know what to do, don't know how to do it. Tressa, I don't know. You know, I don't have a voice like yours. And they need some direction. What would you tell them?
I can teach you a nickel.
Say that again.
I can teach you for a nickel.
Oh, you break it up.
She said she can teach you for a nickel.
She can teach me for. Listen, I'm ready. I'm ready. I am ready and listen, willing and ready. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So what advice would you leave to other singers that are coming up?
My mother used to she used to call it the 4 B's.
Mm-hmm.
She used to say be good, be brief, and be seated. So in church, you don't want to get people glad. You don't make them glad to see you get up and glad to see you when you sit down.
Yes.
That's just kind of practical stuff. But I think one thing that I've learned as a vocalist and as the kid, I always call them kids because they're still younger than me, my nephews. As they say, you know, be versatile, learn different music, but always stay grounded. I can say I've never sung anything else but gospel. It's all like, cause that's my love song, that's my relationship, that's my experience. Mm-hmm. And so it's not a knock on anybody else and does anything else. That's just all I know.
Right.
You know, and so that's what I sing and that's what I'm true to. But
hey,
a lot of progressions and things like that. But just stay with the Lord, you know, everything. And at the base of it, at the end of the day and at the root of it, it's all God, you know.
It is.
And I struggle with fear. And I think a lot of people do. And I'm learning that, you know, as I meet more people and hear their experiences, I struggle with that fear. I'm terrified. And people are like, oh my God, why are you scared? Yes, I get the bubble gut. You know what I'm saying? I'm terrified. But you think about how it's going to be a blessing to people, be a blessing to somebody else, and if God anoints you and stay in that, stay humble, as somebody would say, and then God can use you. Because a lot of times, when I listen to music, it blesses me. But I listen to certain people that, oh, I'm so glad it's on the songs. I have to think about, wait,
Going out.
That for someone else through my singing and through the Lord, then I can, that fear kind of subsides. So a lot of people, sometimes if you're operating in fear, don't. Just relax, enjoy it, let the Lord use you, stay in a place where God can always anoint you. And you'll be all right. Yeah, all of us ain't Kim Burrell or Ken Clark, but I am what I am.
That's right.
I want to and I want to do. So use what you got, whatever God has given you. Not just say no competition, just do you. It's somebody out there that you are specifically assigned to, that your voice can only bless, and your voice can only bring out depression. So do you and don't be afraid. I just preach to myself in Jesus' name.
That's good. Thank you. That was great. That was great. And I stand corrected. Dale Hines corrected me, and you're right, Dale. Kim Love McLendon was my first female guest. So can't forget her. She's
right.
And of course, Angela Grace Russell alluded to how Kim was her first taste of what she saw in the church as a female musician, and she inspired her. So shout out to you, Kim. We love you. But thank you all, Tressa, Dale Jr., Fran Grace, Jay, Del Ray, Angela Grace Russell. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Doing this.
Can I add one more thing?
Yes, please.
Hey, let me add this, man. When we first got started doing this ministry, I had short-term and long-term goals that I had put together.
Mm-hmm.
And over the years, God had blessed me to accomplish all except for one. We did the Hall of Fame, we did the TV, we all that stuff, but the last thing that would actually set my heart at ease is we've been praying for a building for like the last 3 years. We've been looking for a building to museum and archive this history. A place that Sacred Steel can call home.
Yeah.
And so I would like the listeners to kind of touch and agree with us in prayer that the Lord would lead us to a building. I've been looking in Toledo. Maybe it's not in Toledo.
Right.
Maybe it's not. But we would like to have a Sacred Steel Music and History Museum. Because I go to a lot of museums, and I never see our history.
Yes.
And nobody have ever really kind of got together and thought on these lines. And so we have a lot of things that people have donated to us. Matter of fact, this white gentleman, country western guy, he had bought one of Chuck Campbell's Essendon double neck steel guitars. And when he found out when I started talking about a museum, he donated that guitar to me.
Wow.
I have that guitar. I have just yesterday, Shirley Washington of the Washington family out of South Carolina.
South Carolina, yes.
Yeah, I think she's down in Florida somewhere. But her second oldest brother, Ernest, he's deceased. Ernest Washington, he did a 45 record, and she sent the record to me so I can archive it.
Wow.
It's on my Facebook page right now. People are always sending me things. Even the people that have deceased, even on obituaries, I can document that.
Yes.
And those things. And so when you're trying to be a historian, you don't turn nothing down, man. Whatever they send to you, you'll find someplace to put it. But I would like to give Kelly her basement back, because right now it's my museum right now. And
wow.
And again, I thank everybody that have helped me out with this. Yourself, Dante, what you're doing. My prayer is that many more Sacred Steel lovers would find a platform. And record some music. Go into the studio and record some music.
Yes.
I mean, you play with these guys every weekend anyway.
Yes.
So it don't cost $1 million to make a record.
It doesn't.
And
it doesn't.
Shout out to Kashia Hunter and the ATL crew. Them guys, they come up here every year. Oh yeah, give it up for Kashia. It's been a great asset to what we're doing here. And I could go on and on. See, Dante, you should have just had me on here by myself.
Listen.
I got a whole lot more to talk about, bro.
We all home. We all quarantined, and COVID's got us, on a different schedule right now. So you good.
All right. All right, man. But that's all I had to say. And much love to you, Doc. Thank you so much.
Yes.
No, thank you all.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you all. We're gonna continue
Yes,
to
sir.
do this. There are a lot of ideas that I've come across even myself in broadening this particular platform that I'm gonna start implementing. And shout out to the ATL crew. They're gonna be with me next month, and we're actually gonna do their interview on my YouTube platform. So I'm gonna still be doing this here, but I'm gonna be branching off because I really want to spread the love. And not only that, but to better, the knowledge of what we have in this music history. So if you all are in the comment section, I dropped 2 links. I dropped the link to the Sacred Strings website. I also dropped the link to Dale's YouTube page. Go support those 2. If you feel like giving, go to the website and give. You see where his mind is and what dreams he has and where he's trying to take and preserve the music and how he wants to do it. We need each other. We need each other. So sow into where you want to go.
Right. Good one. That's a good one.
That was
That's
hot,
a good
baby.
one.
That was hot.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Sow into where you want to go.
Right.
And I'm a believer of that. You reap what you sow. But if you're not sowing the thing that you want to reap, you're sowing the wrong thing. So where you want to go, and I think in a lot of ways there, if we stick together, we're better together than we are apart. So that's why I'm so grateful for this platform, because it's really bringing so many, the inboxes that I get, the behind the scenes conversations that I'm having is unbelievable. There's a lot of healing that's taking place. We talking about music, but there's a lot of things. There's a lot of other things that are going on, and sometimes we're laughing, we're having fun, we're talking history, but it's so much happening on this platform that I'm grateful for. That I didn't even see for coming, but I'm just grateful that I'm just being used as a vessel to do it and implement it. So thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So until next week, I'm signing off Facebook. Y'all stay here. We gonna kind of have a little after party a little bit. Y'all stay right here. But Facebook, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for just being part of the conversation that we have weekly. And I'm so grateful for the support that I'm being receiving from all of you all. Like and share this post and tell somebody that we're better together than we are apart. All right. Until next week, I'll be tuning in. I think the Lee Boys next Sunday at 4:00. The Lee Boys next Sunday at 4:00. You don't want to miss it.
Yeah.
You don't want to miss it. All right. So I'm signing off Facebook. Y'all stay here. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you for the support.